All right, here in hour number 2 on a Thursday, Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you, and happy to welcome in now a guy who'll be calling Bills Dolphins with his broadcast partners, Andrew Catalon, Jason McCourty, and A.J. Ross on the sidelines. It's the one and only Charles Davis joining us as we get set for this Week 10 matchup. And boy, Charles, I believe, if I remember right, you and Andrew and Jason and A.J. had a Dolphins game earlier this season when hope sprung eternal, and quite frankly, the wheels have fallen off. That's probably the nicest way I can put it for the Dolphins, who are 2-7 and struggling mightily, even to score points, which is something I never thought we would say with Mike McDaniel calling the offensive plays. But here we are, 6 points scored in 2 of their last 3 games. What are you expecting from this Dolphins offense, or is it difficult to know what to expect these days?
First of all, hello to both of you. Hope you're both doing well. This is going to be our 4th Dolphins game. Okay. So, I mean,
yeah,
you almost feel embedded with them and you're not getting the best, although in 2 of the games we've had, they've been good football games. The New England game, week 2, they had their opportunities. That was that one where they returned a punt for a touchdown, and the very next play they kick off and Antonio Gibson goes 90 yards for a touchdown. They lose that one. Then they have the Chargers where they battled them the entire way and then took the lead with less than about a minute to go in the ball game, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then Justin Herbert does a Big Ben impersonation like an oak tree back there, stays up while he's being sacked by Jalen Phillips, hits a short pass to Ladd McConkey, who runs a long way, and they kick a game-winning field goal. Indianapolis was a disaster opening day. I don't know what we're going to get because, Chris, I think you spelled it out so perfectly in the last 3 weeks. 6 points scored at Cleveland, 34 against Atlanta. And you guys know about Atlanta. That was a shockwave game that we all saw on Monday night. And then they go 6 points again last week against Baltimore at home on a Thursday night. So it's an old expression, but I think it is apt. They are consistently inconsistent.
What has been the vibe coming out? I mean, certainly, losing Tyreek early in the season made their offense at least evolve, right?
Yeah.
Their offensive line is a little bit of a question mark, so their running game hasn't been. Achane has been really their best weapon, particularly since Tyreek's injury. They're trying to lean a little bit more on the run game.
Yeah, you're right about that, Stephen. And look, that offensive line, most of the starters are not playing. They're hurt, right? Austin Jackson, right tackle, has been out. James Daniels, their high-priced free agent signee, he got hurt the first series of opening day and hasn't been back since, okay? So what they're doing, trying to fill in, get the right people, the right personnel. The left tackle, Patrick Paul's a good player. Like, he's very, very good. Aaron Brewer's going to battle you at center. But all in all, it's been tough. They played so well. I think you guys saw last Thursday night, the first half, they went 225, 230 yards of offense, but they couldn't ring the bell and score a touchdown. They got inside the 20 twice, and they ended up missing a field goal because on 4th and 1, they're going for it, and Larry Borum, the fill-in right tackle, jumps, so they have to try the field goal. Patterson misses the field goal, and then the other time they try to throw a fade to Achane, which kind of was a surprise to me. Normally when we're throwing a fade route, Steve, tell me if I'm wrong here, as a general rule, you're going to throw a fade to a bigger receiver.
Yeah.
As a general rule, not always, but they throw one, and by the way, he threw it against Kyle Hamilton.
Right.
Who's got half a foot on Achane.
Yeah. Achane and Hamilton, if it's basketball and someone's posting up the other, it's certainly not Achane posting up Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where we've been. And Steve, you kind of nailed it. They're trying to lean on the run, but they can't make quite as much headway as they would like. Ollie Gordon's played well for them as a rookie, but they just find ways to make mistakes or not make the key play when they have to. And then in the second half, Derrick Henry and crew took over. Lamar Jackson shook off the rust. And by the way, if anyone has to play Baltimore in the upcoming weeks, I would not relish it.
Right.
Yeah. Defensively for Miami, Charles, it's been a rough go as well. I do find it interesting that they're trying to play, I guess, more with a 3 defensive tackle front, so to say,
Yeah.
I think when the Bills played him, they did that on occasion, but maybe not full time. What are you seeing from them of late there? And are they just trying to shore up a run front that's really having trouble stopping anybody right now?
Yeah, considering last year, I think they were 4th or 5th in the league against the run. And this year,
The 30th.
30th. Like it's a whole different ball game. So they're trying to. But here's the other part, guys. Zach Sealer has been such a great story for him at defensive tackle. 10 sacks in back-to-back years going into this one. He has 0 sacks.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't help you against the run, but I don't think he's having his best year is the best way I can put it. Benito Jones has been in and out of lineup with injuries. Kenneth Grant's a rookie that's been struggling to find his way. You get the idea. Yeah, they're trying to rotation, trying to put people in there. Jordan Phillips, a rookie out of Maryland. They have a big kid named Zeke Biggers they got in the 7th round. They haven't played him much at all so far. And then the edge guys, they just traded away Jalen Phillips. Bradley Chubb is a 2-time Pro Bowler, and he has 4 sacks and leads the team, but his last sack was week 5. He hasn't had one since. He's gone 4 straight games without a sack. And Matthew Judon, he looks like a veteran. You know what I mean? He just looks like he has no sacks this year. The juice isn't quite the same. I hope I'm wrong come Sunday for his sake, because I like watching him play. But that's not the Matthew Judon that's been to 4 Pro Bowls that we've seen over time. So that pressure has been tough on them as well. Been a mismatch in the secondary. Injuries all over the place. The best 2 players most consistent have been their inside linebackers. Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson.
Give us an idea of how Mike McDaniel is handling this. And certainly they've had a few fires to put out. Tua has had some embarrassing moments, not only on the field, but also in the handling post-game interviews. Mike McDaniel trying to lead that crew down there and keep it together. His job security is a constant conversation going on now, 2-7. How has he been with you guys in your meetings and handle the media down there locally?
He's been consistent with us. That has not been – it's the same Mike McDaniel from the time I met him. Maybe a little bit more subdued, but still the same Mike McDaniel that you've got to lean in and try and figure out what he's telling you, because he's so smart that he's talking to a guy who went to the University of Tennessee. He's a Yalie. I can't quite grasp everything Mike's throwing at me. So I'm trying to parse all this stuff. But he's been that way. I think he's been pretty good with the media down there. I don't think that's been an issue. But it's funny you brought up Tua and Tua going in front. I think that there has kind of been an almost unspoken school of thought down there. Boy, I sure wish we didn't have to make him available, because when he goes in front of the media, you just don't know what's going to happen. But guys, that Chargers game, he threw 3 picks that day. That was the game when he went in front of the media and said, hey, guys weren't showing up for, team meetings and stuff like that. I got texts on that one as I was leaving, headed out, like going out, like, whoa, wait, what? And then I got to watch it in total later. I don't know exactly what the damage control's been. He's been the starter ever since. No one's really talking about it. Steve, you've been in a bunch of locker rooms. You know that there had to be some discussion somewhere. Like, look, you got a problem. We got to keep that here. Let's talk about it right here. It's very simple. I mean, bringing it to us is the worst thing you can do. We are not your therapist. We are not your couch. And by the way, we're not going to help you. Not because we're trying to hurt you as media, but this is too good of a story for us to let go once you give it to us.
Right.
And that's a problem. And so we'll just see what happens from there. But you guys have seen it. 6 points at Cleveland. And then they put 34 on Atlanta in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you think, okay. And then Baltimore, the first half, they play well, just can't score. And in the second half, they got trampled. So we're not sure what we're going to get.
Yeah, which leads me to my last one for you, Charles. And again, thanks for the time. Even though the Bills have won almost all of these meetings, 14-2 in the last 16 for Josh Allen, counting postseason, some of these games have been tight, particularly the last few. This game in week 3 was 21-21, and it takes a Zach Sealer roughing the punter call in the fourth quarter to continue a Bills drive for them to go ahead. So, as much as people might want to kick dirt on the Dolphins, they have scored points on the Bills and kept the games close, as most division games tend to go in this league. I think the Bills are wary of that, but could you see, a close contest despite all the deficiencies that the Dolphins seem to be suffering from?
Chris, as you laid it out, the answer is yes. And because of what you said, it's a division game. They don't go into it with a lot of unknowns, right? You know each other over years and know how people are going to operate. When you talk about preparing for them, you're talking about preparing not just for a head coach, but the coordinators, you know what you're getting. And these players have a lot of pride. The one thing they have not done on Mike McDaniel is quit. They have not rolled over. Now, they've had some ugly games, but some of those have gotten out of hand in the second half or the fourth quarter. A lot of them have been tight. And as I explained to you guys before, I spelled out to you, we've seen 2 games that have been tight ball games. New England went down to the wire. They had the ball and a chance at the end, and then ended up getting sacked on 4th down, and then we already spelled out what happened with the Chargers. So I don't count them out at all by any stretch. And you're going to get, 86 degrees, 87 degrees on Sunday? That's different than what you have right now in Western New York. And you can't really prepare for it. Steve, if there's a way to prepare other than the so-called sports science, make sure you hydrate and all that, please let me know, because I don't think you can take your indoor facility and make it a sauna for 3 or 4 days to try and prepare these guys. So they've got to make sure they're prepared, ready to go, get your IVs, all that, because the heat probably will be a factor at this time of year.
Yeah, it's always an issue, but we'll see. We've seen it before. It has happened down there before to the Buffalo Bills with this crew, so we'll see if they have a better plan this time, if indeed it does get too hot.
82 is the kickoff forecast temperature, but as we know, going into the afternoon hours, it figures to get warmer, probably up right where Charles was saying. It would be 86, 87 by the time we get to halftime, second half. Charles, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Charles.
Have a good broadcast on Sunday.
Hey, thanks. It's always great to see you guys. Look forward to seeing you.